Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
All right. How old
Could
are
you hear?
you?
Could you hear me?
Yep. How old are
Could you?
you?
Okay, I'm not a Trump supporter. I listen to you every night. I just want to call in and say I enjoy your show, and you really got the nut case coming out tonight. I don't know what for
Sure
some
do.
reason, but you're really doing a great job, and just keep on doing what you're doing.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you.
I support you live, and I will continue to support it.
I appreciate that. You have a good night, man.
Bye bye.
Bye. All right. What did? Oh, goodness. Elizabeth, thank you for subscribing as well. It looks like we are in a Subwave on TikTok. So if we can get 3 more new subs or renewals in the next 14 minutes, we complete the Subwave and we go into the dashes. They do. They do. It's wild. Thank you for calling the stream. Are you there?
6-7.
Is there a meaning to that, by the way?
It's actually a meme because some kid at a basketball game said 6-7 and it just somehow got popular. I really don't know why. Then
Huh.
I just started saying it.
Okay.
You're
Interesting.
welcome. Anyway, I'm gonna not troll today because I'm tired of this shit. I'm gonna be honest. So you have a good stream. Bye bye.
Cool beans, man. What'd we post? Oh my gosh. I hate when I have all of this stuff going on. Scroll all the way back down. Alright, let's see. Thank you, Moose. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there? Hello? Alright, bye. Did you lie again?
Oh, I was gonna say one more thing, guys. Chat. Type 1 if you're gooning.
Oh my goodness. Aw, thanks, Elizabeth. I appreciate that. I don't know what that means. Oh, I think you'll be okay on that side, Parkers. You know that side's the good one. Interesting. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay. How old are you? Oh, thank you, Twatness. I see that. How old are you?
I'm 14.
All right. Well, please go play a game. Thank you, Amy, and thank you, Twatness, for becoming paid subscribers again on TikTok. I know you guys were just renewing. So we just need 1 more sub. We can't gift subs anymore right now on TikTok while they're figuring out their mess of whatever. And I know, like, guys, I'm not ignoring you, I promise. So you guys are fucking killing it on the likes today. I don't want to. I don't know what a lot of things mean, guys. I'm happily mentally sheltered. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Hello. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah. How old are you?
41.
Did you vote for Trump?
I did.
Do you still support him? Welcome back, Chris.
Hell no, nigger, nigger, nigger.
Saw that coming. In mine, Chrissy? Oh. Okay. I guess I'll watch that in a minute. That's... I don't get it. Oh, thank you, Pokegurumi, for renewing your sub. Appreciate that. Thank you. All right, Chris. Well, I mean, listen, guys. Yeah, they always do that. They want to, like, they'll wait a moment, too, before they say something silly. All right, let's see what's in the news right now. Oh, officially, Donald Trump did sign his executive order to rename the Department of war. The directive will make Department of War secondary title and is a way to get around need for congressional approval. Donald Trump signed an executive order on Friday to rebrand the Department of Defense as the Department of War, a callback to the department's original name used from 1789 to 1974. The directive will make the Department of War the secondary title and is a way to get around the need for congressional approval to formally rename a federal agency. See, that's what I was saying, guys. It would require that. Thank you, Dan, for the manifesting. That's so cute. Oh my God. I don't want to read this. I don't want to read this quote. I don't want to read this quote. I do not want to read this quote. The administration... Oh, wait, I gotta test this. Hold on. No way. Ain't no way. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 26.
Did you vote for Trump?
Yes, I did vote for Trump.
Do you still support him?
Yeah, I voted for Trump.
Do you still support him?
Yes, I support him still, of course.
Okay.
I mean, it's only been 8 months.
Why do you still support Trump?
So the main reason I support Trump, honestly speaking, is he's a man that sticks to his word. You know, he doesn't deviate from what he said or he's gonna do.
Oh, he doesn't?
And
So what happened in Alaska on August 15th?
what do you mean? You're talking about the meeting with Vladimir Putin? Or
Yeah. So, like, when he was getting on the plane to Air Force One, he said that there were going to be severe consequences if they don't agree to a ceasefire prior to leaving or at the end of that meeting. And he was going to know within 2 minutes if he was going to get that ceasefire. And there were going to be severe consequences for Russia if not. And then he came out and said,
Yeah.
we're going to skip a ceasefire, go straight for a peace deal, and there are no consequences for Russia. And then he also said after the meeting with Zelensky and the other leaders of NATO and the EU that it was going to be another 2 weeks to figure it out. And, well, within that 2 weeks, Russia bombs an American manufacturing plant within Ukraine, and nothing occurred from that. And the 2-week deadline has passed, and there's been no meeting between Zelensky and Putin, no progress on that front for Zelensky and Putin. So I'm wondering, when am I actually going to see the consequences of Putin not doing anything to come to an agreement past Donald Trump's second deadline that he gave them, just in regards to this meeting?
Yeah, so...
Doesn't sound like he's standing by his word.
I think it's like a negotiating tactic, right?
You can only negotiate so much before everybody just laughs in your face and calls you a clown, because you've been saying
right.
2 weeks since he got his booty butt into office, after every phone call, after every meeting. In fact, what he did was roll back sanctions on Russia instead of implementing more. He rolled them back. He decided to try to punish Ukraine for being the one, not while I'm actively talking, for being
Can I ask a question?
You just did. Thank you. Not while, actively, like, trying to punish Ukraine while they're the ones that are being attacked and invaded, and their civilian population being murdered by Russia.
Okay, but let me ask. So is the U.S. still supporting Ukraine?
In theory.
With weapons and whatnot?
About a theory only.
Intelligence and whatnot?
Oh, and intelligence, sure, yeah. Because we saw what happened when we turned off our intelligence sharing for just 5 days, right? Russia launched their largest attack at the time on Kiev and ended up killing 13 civilians. Yeah.
Right. So the thing is with Trump, because let's be honest, this war with Ukraine, I don't think Putin is planning on stopping this war anytime soon. Trump is just trying to negotiate like a peaceful deal to where Russia can take a small part of Ukraine. And then Ukraine can, remain as, its own country without joining NATO.
They've been
because
their own country. There
and
was
I don't
they literally agreed to
and
sign
also
on.
and also
They started on their
to
path to join NATO in
right.
1994. I don't know if you
Yeah,
realize that.
and this goes against like the agreement that the U.S. had with Russia
Oh,
that
you mean
NATO
with the
would not
former
expand
Soviet
east, right?
Union? With Gorbachev,
Well, it's
right?
an agreement.
With
It
Gorbachev,
still
right?
stands, right?
With
Still
Gorbachev, right?
stands.
With Gorbachev,
I
right?
mean, just because they had it with a different
Hi.
leader doesn't mean that.
Hello.
Yes,
I'm asking you a direct question. Yeah, that required a yes or no answer. With Gorbachev, where can I find this
sure.
agreement? Can you direct me where I can find this agreement? I assumed it was signed. Where can I find it?
I mean, whether it's a shake hand or it doesn't
It
matter
wasn't
because it
signed?
was an agreement that.
Okay, so where can I find this agreement?
I mean, you can do a quick Google search.
Okay,
I
so
mean, I
actually
don't
when I
know
Google it,
exactly
because
where.
I've actually done my research, I can tell that you honestly haven't at this point. When I Google it, I learned that Gorbachev himself came out when Putin used that as an excuse to illegally annex Crimea. And Gorbachev himself said that that's not what the conversation was. That's not what the agreement pertained to. And then we know that also to be true because I guarantee
Yeah.
you've never heard of this one. There was an agreement that was actually formally signed between Russia and NATO in 1997. Do you happen to know what that is called?
I mean, what the Berlin? I don't know. I mean, I don't know every single agreement that.
Oh, so you're not familiar with it? So you haven't done your research?
I mean, you can tell me what it is, and then I might
that's
be
cool.
able
I'll
to
put it up on
recall
the
it.
screen. Yeah. So I just want to point this out for everybody. This is directly from the State Department. Okay. It's archived because it's old. Okay. And it's called the NATO Russia Founding Act.
Okay. And okay, so can I ask a question?
So no, I actually want to go ahead and read this with you.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Cool. So this was at the end of the document that Russia signed on to in 1997. Cool. The act has no impact on NATO enlargement. That process is proceeding on schedule. NATO leaders at the Madrid summit in July will extend invitations to the first countries to begin accession talks. Those countries admit it will have the full rights and will have the full rights and responsibilities of alliance membership, and the door to membership will remain open to all emerging European democracies. Very interesting that Russia agreed in 1997 to NATO enlargement. Very specifically, this is at the end of the document.
Yeah.
Why did they sign on to something if the NATO wasn't supposed to enlarge?
I mean, that was under a different leadership.
But you just said that it doesn't. Hold on. Oh, wait. Different leadership.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So what you're telling me is because it was under a different leadership in 1997 from when prior to that Gorbachev was only the president of the USSR. He was never the president of Russia. After the Soviet Union dissolved, he was no longer president. So that means because we don't have to honor the NATO-Russia Founding Act of 1997 because that was under a different leader, then wow, we don't need to honor the Gorbachev agreement that Gorbachev himself said that wasn't correct.
I mean, so you're telling me...
No, I need you to understand your own hypocrisy and admit that you just pretzeled yourself. It's very hypocrite. It's very hypocritic.
Let's say you're right and I'm a hypocrite, right?
You are. You said, but that's under a different leader, but it doesn't matter if when it was under Gorbachev, if it was a different leader because his name was Gorbachev, that didn't matter if it was a different leader, but in 1997, it's a different leader and that makes a difference.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on the situation.
It just depends on the situation. So when it doesn't fit your narrative, that's when it's okay and that's when it's not okay?
No. Here, let
because
me
that's the only thing here.
That.
Sorry, I just want to be clear that's the only thing here that's actually changed as far as it just depends on the narrative, or sorry, just depends on the situation. Is it no longer fits your narrative, so therefore it must be wrong and different rules apply. Oh, but your narrative was, sorry, let me just rehash. Let me bring this all back to you, right? Is that Russia, there was this agreement in 1991 between Gorbachev and the Secretary of State, not even the Secretary of State, I think it was just the Secretary to NATO representing the United States. where they had just a handshake agreement talking specifically about the reunification of Germany, that NATO wasn't supposed to move into East Germany until they've all agreed that Germany was going back together as a country. It was very specific to just East Germany. But somehow this gets expanded out to Putin. And so now you're saying that NATO agreed to not expand at all past Germany, according to you, and it's okay for that to happen because it was under Gorbachev in 1991 with the Soviet Union, but because there was there was no signed documentation at that time, but when we have an actual signed document signed with NATO, the organization that you have an issue with, right? Signed with NATO, when it was actually signed by a different president, you have an issue with it.
But I'm not against Ukraine, right? I am not against Ukraine. The issue that I have is that I know for sure that if Russia were to put a base in Canada or Mexico, that the U.S. would not just stand there and let it happen. And I feel like the U.S. getting involved in Ukraine and trying to expand NATO, right? Why should they get involved and cause like all these unnecessary wars?
It's not an unnecessary war. Are you familiar with the Helsinki Final Act?
No, I don't know.
No, you've never heard of it before? How about the Partnership for Peace program?
No.
Never heard of that one either? Okay, cool. No, these are all things that exist. These are all agreements that were signed that Russia directly violated when they illegally annexed Crimea in 2014, right? Thank you, Brian, for renewing your subscription on TikTok. And so, like, the United States themselves never attempted to expand NATO. And if that were to be true, Russia would have invaded Latvia, Lithuania, or Estonia prior to them joining NATO. I am sure you've heard of this one because this is something that all of you guys actually always heard of, is the Budapest Memorandum. Yeah. So you've heard of that one, right?
Yes, I have heard of, yeah.
Cool.
So, I mean, in your opinion, put yourself in Trump's position. What should he do?
What should he do? Honor the agreements that were signed. Yeah, he should have put more sanctions on Russia and never rolled them back.
But that would hurt the U.S. economy.
How would sanctions on Russia that we are no longer trading with, no longer been doing business with, and haven't been doing business with them for over 5 years, what would sanctions with Russia or against Russia, how would that hurt the United States economy?
Well, first we use their gas.
No, we don't. We have not bought any of their oil since 2022. False.
Correct, and that's why the gas prices have been up.
No, that's not why the gas prices have been up. I'm so glad that you think you know something when you don't. Cap, wrong, incorrect.
Yeah, but okay.
Are you from Russia by chance? Ethnically?
No, I'm not a Russian. No, I'm not a Russian.
Oh, okay.
And by the way, I think Ukraine deserves to be their own nation. You know?
They are their own nation. They don't deserve to be their own nation. They literally are their own nation.
Yeah, and they deserve that, you know?
Right, and just like they didn't deserve to be invaded or have parts of their country illegally annexed by a superpower or a supposed superpower.
I think Biden had Trump in the presidency before Biden. I don't think this war would have taken place.
Can you tell me what color your nose is right now?
I mean, I don't know why that doesn't matter. Why is that?
Can you tell me what color your nose is right now?
I don't understand.
Is it brown or orange?
Is it brown or orange?
Yeah.
Brown. Why?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. You have your nose so far up Donald Trump's ass with his talking points. That tracks.
No, I mean, you don't have to go that far, but...
Sir, you do, because if you're reiterating, which, by the way, we have no data, no evidence, but there is literally no evidence that would show, sir, calm down. It's okay. Hey, buddy, 1 second. Let me be very clear with you. There is literally no statistical data or evidence or historical data or evidence that we can even look to that says that there is zero chance Putin would have done a full-on invasion in 2022 if Trump was president. There's nothing. So the only thing at that point that you're doing is you're regurgitating Trump talking points and Putin talking points. Isn't that crazy how you're regurgitating bullshit from Russia?
No,
That's
no,
wild to
I'm
me.
not.
You
I'm
are.
not.
Who are the
No,
only people
so
that have said that, sir?
under
The only
Trump-
people that have said that were
Under
Trump and
there was
Putin.
no wars.
There were no
under
wars? There were no wars.
there-
So what you're gonna tell me is that if I look it up, I'm gonna see that the war between Russia and Ukraine was just stopped existing between 2017, January 20th, 2017, and January 19th of 2021. Right? It just
literally
stopped
started
existing.
as soon as Biden became president.
No, when did Biden become president?
I mean,
What?
I mean,
No,
you
no.
know
Give me
this
the
better
date.
than
Come
I
on.
know.
Oh yeah, because I fucking know my shit. I'm sorry that you come into something ill-equipped.
I mean, this was in 2020, around January, right?
2020, January 2020,
Correct.
Biden became president,
Sure, yeah.
and that's when Russia invaded.
Well, that was in preparation. That's when like Russia started the attacks.
Oh wait,
right?
they started only in
lining up.
2020.
No, they were in the progression because they knew Biden was going to win, so they were preparing right in the time that Biden would be president, so they can attack.
Oh, for sure.
Because
yeah.
had Trump and I mean, let's be honest,
In
right?
January 2020.
Under Biden, there was the war in Israel, right? We had the war in
No,
Ukraine.
we're not pivoting away. Okay, we're gonna stick on your January 2020. Biden was president.
Okay. Sure.
Can you do me a favor?
Okay.
Can you open up Google on your phone? Like, put me on speakerphone. Open up Google.
Okay.
Type in who was president January 2020. I'm going to read it out loud for the class.
Are you on with the guys?
Did you find it yet, dude?
Yeah. So.
What does it say for the class?
Well, I actually just realized that the war started in 2014 under Obama.
Yeah.
Right?
Uh-huh.
And
so
you were right in terms
and who
of
was
like,
and who was president January 2020?
Well, that's that's when that's when I guess Biden became president, right?
No, I asked you to Google who was president January 2020. Do we need to do a read along with the class? Okay, I guess I can do that for you.
I mean, okay, Trump became president in 2016.
All right, cool.
And
okay.
then ended in January 2020.
President in January 2020? Oh.
I mean, Trump, like I said, Trump had just ended his term.
And you're confident on that?
Yes.
Totally confident.
Yes, of course.
You're going to hang your hat 100%, 10 toes down. Do you want to bet?
I mean, what do you want to bet on?
I don't know. You can send me, we'll make it easy for you. We'll even make it cheap. You can send me $5 on, sorry, hold on, TikTok. You can send me $5 on either Cash App or Venmo.
Okay.
You good with that?
Here, I just did what you asked me to do. I looked it up on Google, right? It says Donald Trump, a Republican originally from New York who involved his presidency, was elected president of the United States in 2016. He was inaugurated on January 20, 2017. And of course, he ends it in 2021. So it was just a simple, off date, right? But
Off
my
date?
point is my point is
when you
the
like
war escalated. The war escalated like as soon as Biden became president.
Oh, just as soon as. So when did the war escalate exactly?
As soon as he became president.
So like it happened February 2021?
Yeah, so the war started
February
under
2021.
Obama in 2014.
Yeah.
And then it took a pause around the time that Trump was president. As soon as another Democrat, which is Biden, became president, that's when the war started to escalate.
Okay, so
Because Crimea was taken under Obama, by the way.
Oh yeah, I know that. I understand that you didn't know that until like 2 minutes ago when you decided to look it up yourself. And
Well,
that's
I'm not
cool.
a historian. I'm just.
Neither am I. I just happen to
citizen,
know things. Like, see,
I'm just talking as a normal, regular
do you want to
citizen,
know? And I'm a normal, regular citizen too, dude. I just happen to do research on stuff before I open my mouth to say stupid shit.
Okay. But,
which you
okay,
apparently
what
weren't
else
able
do you
to
have
do.
against Trump, though? Because I don't understand.
Yeah, because you don't understand, like, what was actually happening. Let's see.
Yeah.
Why can't I find my lovely chart that I used to have? I wonder if it's on the other tab. Hold on. I was just giving you an example. You said specifically that somehow he, is upholding all of his promises. And he's not. There we go.
I mean, he's trying to. I'm not.
It's
not
not even
perfect,
trying
right?
to. So here, I'm going to go ahead and pull this up for you. Let's be very clear. You did say that while Donald Trump was president, there was like nothing going on in Ukraine, right? Like it basically stopped.
Well, not completely, but
Oh, okay.
it was a lot better when.
Oh, it was a lot
when he
better?
was president. Yeah.
Oh.
Yes.
Is that why when they were recording bomb strikes in the Donbas region of Ukraine that they saw the highest spike in January of 2018 after Donald Trump became president? A year after Donald Trump became president?
Yeah, but I mean I wouldn't say that that's like an actual war because
it's not an actual war. No,
it was a military operation.
It was a military operation. Oh. So what you're telling me is that we can just brush off all of these instances of bombings that were recorded within the Donbas region of Ukraine.
I mean, the U.S. bombed Iran the other day. I mean, does it mean that it was a war?
Donald Trump called it a 12-day war, so that's not true.
Yeah, it wasn't an actual war. It was
Donald Trump called it a 12-day war.
Yeah, between Israel and Iran.
That he caused and got directly involved in. He literally called it a 12-day war. But see how you're pivoting again? I want you to address the fact that under Donald Trump's presidency, the bombing between Ukraine and the Russian troops in the Donbas region increased under Donald Trump. Because if they didn't increase, why the hell did he send them javelins in 2019?
Right.
I mean, yeah. So when we're talking about this, it's very clear. And Thomas, I love how you guys are just so confidently wrong in the chat. Like, so confidently wrong, Thomas. Are you sure on that year, Thomas, in the chat? Because confidently wrong.
I mean, it's not that nothing bad happened under Trump, right? It's just that Trump at least tries to, complete his promises.
No, he's not trying. Again, what did he say when he was on the campaign trail? Did he say I can end the war within 24 hours of being in office? And then not only that, he also bumped it up a little bit. I'm not done. Awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry. A president should not joke about people fucking dying in other countries. That's deplorable. So you support somebody joking about death happening in other countries. That's gross. It's okay for him to joke because he's just a fucking jokester. When he's the one that literally said, I can end the war within 24 hours of being elected president. Being in office. And then not only that, he increased his own timeline and said, I can end the war within 24 hours of being president-elect, which means that the war should have ended on November 6th, 2021, not November 5th, not January 20th, 2025. Sorry, I said the years wrong. November 6th, 2024. My bad, guys.
I agree with you.
No,
I
it's
think what he
not.
said was
What?
was
No,
not
hold his
right.
feet to the fire. And then what we also know is that in January of 2025, prior to him being inaugurated into office, he said he would just need 6 months. What? 6 months. January 6th, 2025 would be July 6th, 2025. We are now 2 full months past July, his 6-month deadline that he gave himself. Not only that, within that entire deadline, he rolled back sanctions against Russia, which, by the way, the sanctions weren't hurting us because we're not buying oil, haven't bought a single drop of oil from Russia since 2022, right? Because Thomas in the chat, just to be clear, Russia did their full invasion February 24, 2022, not 2021, not right after Biden became president, right? They didn't do it until then. Okay? And that's because that's about how long it took him to convince the president of Belarus in order for them to go up and through the northern front. There's a reason why it took him that long to negotiate. Yeah,
Okay.
no, you don't
I'll
know
say-
anything. You are literally regurgitating Russian propaganda. I understand that and you're definitely just parroting Trump's talking points because unfortunately we've already confirmed that your nose is brown from having it so far up Donald Trump's
Trump
ass.
was perfect. I didn't say that he
You're good,
completed.
bro. I'm done. That was just fucking stupid. All right. Yes, Giselle. That was Polly on the screen, guys, that came up and came in. Lukashenko. Thank you, Kelly. I couldn't remember his name for a moment. Let me get through these real quick. No worries, Thomas. Giselle, thank you for the floating heart. Floating heart again. This is where I was kind of joking at Thomas. Sorry, Thomas. I understand it was a mistype. February 24th, he meant 2022. He confirms that here. And yes, is this guy a plant? He's a moron. I honestly think he was ethnically Russian. You guys are so funny. Oh, Gordon, thank you so much for sending out 5 gifted subs. I appreciate that so much. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Yeah, hi.
Hi, how old are you?
52.
Did you vote for Trump?
I did.
Do you still support him?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, give me just 1 second, really quickly. Tommy, thank you so much for the 50. I appreciate that so much. Thank you so much for that.
Are you still there?
Oh, that. Sorry, I was reading another message, and I thought that was really pretty funny.
Oh.
That's a good point. I'm gonna leave this up here for a moment. Okay, Thomas, I'll try to get you. I'm gonna get through this call real quick, man. I'm gonna leave this up here for a second. So, what is your main reason for still supporting Trump?
Because I hate niggers. Why else? Nigger, 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 nigger.
I'm fucking white, bro. Disgusting human being. Absolute child. All right, Thomas, now would be your time to try to call in. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Yep.
How old are you?
I'm 34. I've actually called in before.
Okay. Oh, sorry. I'm going to try to get Thomas up here. I think this might be him. If it's not, call back in just a moment, okay?
Okay.
Thanks, Ben. Hi, is this Thomas?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Did you vote for Trump?
I didn't vote, but I did.
What'd you want to add,
him
man?
over Kamala. Over Kamala.
I mean, fine. I am not like really here to rehash like the results of the election or why somebody would support him over the election itself that was 10 months ago, almost a year ago now. It's not really
And
worth.
I still feel like I would still support him. I know there's some, back and forth, but I would still support him right now.
Okay, regardless of the fact that he's trying to take 10 million people off of their health care, basically going to leave to starving kids in our country more than we already had. He lied about the no tax on tips. He lied about the no tax on overtime. He definitely lied multiple times about no taxes on Social Security. Oh, Tommy, thank you for becoming a member.
Just curious, like you said, the no tax on tips thing, is that like, how is he lying? I thought he just put something through that.
Yeah, it's a tax deduction. It's not a no tax.
Like internet streamers, right?
Yeah, no, I benefit from the tax deduction. Yeah. So do you see how like saying no tax on tips means that it wouldn't be taxed to start with, which at the beginning of that, just so everybody's aware, unless you're leaving an electronic like credit card additional tip, it's already not taxed.
It's the cash tips.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like it's already like not taxed, right?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's already not taxed. You might be required to report your tips, but people don't even report all their tips as it stands now.
Oh, no, when I was a bartender or server, I never hardly reported cash tips, right? But
yeah.
You have to report your credit tips.
Yeah, you have to report your credit tips. And if you're saying that it doesn't apply to credit, then that's going to adversely affect people that are making tips, because then that $25,000 deduction that they would get doesn't even apply to the tips that they received.
No.
And then the no tax on overtime. Well, I want to talk about no tax on overtime just really quickly. I'll keep it brief. Okay. So people's overtime is still actively being taxed, and it's only a deduction of $12,500. That's literally the max. And so like it's
overtime as a server. What is? I mean,
overtime is.
I never got paid like time and a half as if I worked more than 40 hours. I never got time and a half.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how it works for servers. I have never had to work in that industry myself. But just specifically when we're, again, like, I'm talking about overtime, so people that would make time and a half, right? It's still being taxed from their paycheck.
Time and a half, that's on tips, though.
I'm not saying they would. This applies to, like, let's just say manufacturing individuals.
What type of job would it apply to?
Manufacturing, retail.
Manufacturing is going to hit.
Manufacturing sometimes pays overtime. A lot of companies don't like paying overtime. We can give one very specific.
I mean, they're not getting tips, though. That is retail, to be honest.
Right, I'm no longer talking about tips.
Oh. So that's what you want to talk about.
Overtime. Yeah, so like one very specific example is, if people don't know this, Enterprise, when you work for Enterprise, as the people that rent you the cars, like physically rent you the cars, that's their management trainee program, and they are required to work 49 hours a week. So they're going to beyond hit the $12,500 deduction that's allowed, and their overtime, so that 9 hours overtime is still being taxed. Which is why I say that it's a false narrative to say no tax on these things, because they're still actively being taxed.
I thought we were talking about no tax on tips, but this is different. This is overtime.
Yeah, but what point did you want to bring up about the last caller? We can move on.
No. I mean, I just thought it was like, I don't know. I mean, I get your point on Ukraine. So, like, I wasn't arguing the point on Ukraine. I just thought he was, a little bit of a moron in how he, like, brought his argument. Mm-hmm. I mean, what's your position on it? Obviously it's a tough situation.
My easiest position to state is that Ukraine decides when they're done fighting, and we support them until then, primarily because they're the ones that were invaded. Another nation, such as the United States or even any NATO country, doesn't get to determine when they're done protecting their sovereignty as a nation. We also don't get to tell them that they have to give up land.
Do other countries, not even U.S., but like like European countries, do they have influence on Ukraine? And I do agree, like Ukraine should keep fighting, but like I feel like European countries, even US, I mean, they should have some influence on the outcome. It does impact the global economy. It impacts people. Why shouldn't they have influence on it?
If you want to talk about the countries that have the biggest influences, we saw it when 7 heads of states signed a joint statement when Trump was talking about meeting with Putin the first time. And then all 8 leaders of the Nordic Baltic states also signed a joint statement saying that they are honoring Ukraine's sovereignty and their will and ability to fight, basically saying the same thing that I just said. Ukraine gets to decide what they give up in any kind of peace talks or negotiations, not any other individual, any other head of state.
Trump's negotiations so far have failed.
Beyond failed. Yeah, it's quite embarrassing.
He's pretty much said, like, keep fighting,
but he's also not doing anything.
There's no resolution right now.
He could economically hurt them further by imposing the sanctions he threatened, but then took back. He waffled. He tacoed. However you want to say it. He tacoed out.
But he didn't tell Ukraine to stop fighting. I mean, he said that they would have to keep fighting.
Yeah, but he also told them that they need to give up land.
So, like, the land is the issue?
Yeah, they get to decide when they're done. They get to decide if they give up land.
What happens if they run out of military fit people to fight the war?
I don't know. If I'm being honest, I don't have a solution for that. All I know is that, unfortunately, our Nordic Baltic countries and their leaders are already looking at trying to invoke Article 5 of NATO because guess what? Russia keeps flying armed drones into their airspace. They literally, one went into, forgive me, people, I'm going to confuse. I don't remember if it was Lithuania or Latvia. One went into, and they crashed it in one of those 2 L countries, and it had a bomb, and it blew up right outside of one of their government facilities.
Let me ask you this. Here's a question for you. Would you support U.S. troops going in? I mean, I know there's like non-U.S. military, but U.S. people fighting, but would you support the U.S. military going into Ukraine?
It would not be ideal. I would agree with that. But so Article 5 of NATO, people have a common misconception. There is no guarantee that troops would be put on the ground from any of the NATO countries when Article 5 is enacted. The way that people can support, the way that the countries can support is very vague and open to interpretation. Even then, like when the only country that has ever enacted or asked for Article 5 to be enacted by NATO, which is the United States of America, not all of the countries sent troops. Plenty of them just sent armament.
I can't remember. Is Ukraine part of NATO or no?
No, they're a partner.
Oh, they're not. Oh.
They're not in the alliance, but they're a partner to the alliance.
Which is the whole Putin spiel, right? He doesn't want them a part of NATO.
Russia was also a partner to the alliance until they violated it by illegally annexing Crimea.
Yeah, well, they do violate quite a bit. So what would your solution be, or what would you think is like the best path forward to end the conflict and try and put Ukraine on a sovereignty path? Like, how do you think, or what would you think is the best scenario, or obviously maybe not the best outcome, but like, what do you think is the path forward?
Right now, the easiest thing is for all the countries to actually get together and just tell Russia that you need to get the fuck out of Ukraine. I don't understand why that's not even being said to them, why it's like being skirted around, why it's not even a conversation that's being had. Just get out of Ukraine. You don't belong there. It's not your country. It's not necessarily that boots even have to be put on the ground, though. If they were, Poland's going to be the first one. They have the most military armament ready, and they are the most armed NATO country outside of the United States right now is Poland. And Donald Trump is already talking about putting more military armament in Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia.
What did you think of that huge meeting like 3 weeks ago where there was like Zelensky and like 8 of the other European leaders? I mean, I thought that was a pretty strong statement.
It wasn't,
and
in my
opinion. It seemed like Trump was kind of on the same page. I don't know, more so than usual.
Yeah, because he was being showered with praise, because unfortunately that's how you appease a child, is that you praise them.
But today Trump came out and said, or I think he posted on X or whatever, Truth, something kind of like about India, Russia, China. Did you see that?
Oh yeah, where he's like crying because he's the one that put sanctions on India after claiming to be the reason why India reached a peace agreement or a ceasefire deal with Pakistan, who's been their known rival for a long ass time.
For centuries.
Yeah, centuries, for a long ass time. And it's always been known, whether it's been loud or quietly, that you don't get involved with India and Pakistan. They don't want anyone else involved in their politics. So he beyond insulted India and their entire nation. They literally made an effigy of Trump and then burned it in the streets. They made an effigy of Trump and burned it in the streets because he kept trying to claim.
I kind of read it as Trump realized he had less influence on those countries, which, I mean, then I get back to like the Ukraine situation. It's like he says it's much harder than he thought it would be. I think maybe it's kind of like a point of realization that he doesn't, you know, have as much control as he thinks he does, which is a flaw as a leader. But I don't know how he closes Ukraine conflict out at this point. I mean, he kind of admitted to it today. He has no control over China, Russia, or India, some of the largest countries.
Or North Korea.
Competitors. North Korea hasn't been in the news that much lately, actually.
Yeah, they were. They just had Kim Jong-un joined President Xi
and Putin for the military
Jinping and Putin for their military parade. Yeah.
True.
Their parade celebrating when Japan surrendered.
But don't you think though, like that tweet today or whatever was kind of an admission that he realizes he doesn't have as much influence now on these nations that are going to be.
Yeah, I can say that. I would agree with that.
Ahead of U.S., direct competitors of U.S., already I mean, and it's like, well, then he's been pushing for peace in Ukraine, and I don't know how you solve that without giving up land or something. I mean, obviously Putin can't back away without something for what he's taken his country through. I'm not justifying it. I'm just trying to look through his lens.
No, the best way to actually show a strong face, giddy up. Thanks, Kelly. Or a strong front would be following up on the threats that you make. Because Donald Trump has given Putin so many additional deadlines throughout his entire run of this presidency that at this point, Russia just thinks he's a joke because it's always 2 weeks, and then it was 50 days, and then they met, and before they met, he was very clear in saying that there will be severe consequences if we don't agree to a ceasefire before Putin leaves. And then during that conversation, after, he had our military members get down on their knees and roll out the red carpet for Putin, which they didn't do for any of the leaders that came from NATO on Monday. And there were no consequences to no ceasefire deal coming out of the meeting. None at all. In fact, he gave Russia another 2 weeks. And then Russia bombed an American manufacturing facility within Ukraine. And all Trump had to say was like, I don't like it, but it's war.
But other than armed conflict directly with Russia in Ukraine, like what other levers does Trump have? I mean, we've sanctioned them. I mean, most of U.S. businesses have pulled out of Russia.
No, we rolled back our sanctions. We didn't even.
They're going to switch to Chinese currency, if not already. I mean,
That's what the BRICS nations already do. That was their agreement when they formed originally.
So then, like, what tools does Trump have other than like an armed conflict with U.S. soldiers to influence?
Actually stand by his own threats that he makes. Because now his threats are just empty promises and empty words, and he's proved that. So until he actually does something that stands by the threats that he gave about I'm going to do sanctions if he doesn't do something in 2 weeks. If something's not done in 2 weeks, I'm going to do sanctions. If it's not at the end of these 50 days, I'm going to do sanctions. There will be severe consequences if there's nothing by the end of this meeting.
But
put sanctions on the countries that are still trading with Russia. Kind of like what he did with India.
I mean, India, China.
India was already going to meet with China and Russia because of Donald Trump stepping on their hard line about don't get involved with them in Pakistan. That has always been their hard line. Do not get involved. Do not put yourself in between them and Pakistan unless they directly ask you. And instead, Trump is like, yeah, I called up Prime Minister Modi and was like, hey, if you want to do business with the United States of America, and I know you want to. Sorry, I can't do his voice. And the other voice would be annoying. It's a baby voice. We're gonna, you're not gonna be able to trade with us unless you end that war with Pakistan. And then he goes out on national television again and again and again and again and again and continues to claim that he ended the war. And insulting not only Modi, but their entire country.
The thing that Trump hasn't touched, India, is the services, consulting, IT services business. All those tariffs haven't touched. So I do agree with you on that. There's still more you could do on some of the partners, but I still wonder what Trump has left in his bag for Russia other than putting in U.S. troops. That's all. I mean, I'll let you go.
Yeah.
But that's the only thing that I wonder, what else could he do?
Again, just the first step, put on the sanctions. Sanctions the other countries. Put sanctions on fucking North Korea. Put sanctions on China. Put sanctions on Brazil. Put sanctions on South Africa. People forget that that's the S in BRICS, is South Africa.
Okay. Well, thanks for your time.
Yeah, no problem, man.
All right. Have a good night.
You too. Bye. Thanks, country. I appreciate that. See that? That's cool. I appreciate that. Yeah, stop giving Putin 2 weeks. The other guy that I disconnected with, you're welcome to call back. Thank you for calling the stream. Are you there? Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there? How old are you?
47.
Did you vote for Trump?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Do you still support him?
Yes.
Why do you still support Trump?
I like what he's doing in Washington, D.C. with the troops there.
Have I talked to you before? Your voice sounds familiar.
I don't think so.
Why are you okay with our National Guard embarrassing themselves with having pictures taken of them picking up trash?
Let's go!
Well, I think...
should our active duty military members that are not paid to be janitors be picking up trash on the street? In uniform?
I think their presence is causing...
No, that's not what I asked.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think our active duty military armed service members in uniform should be embarrassing themselves by picking up trash on the street?
Yeah, the reason they're picking up trash is because the crime rate has dropped 80% and carjackings dropped 80%.
Why aren't we hiring janitors to go and do that, or street sweepers to go and do that? Why are we asking our National Guardsmen, who should be treated with dignity, from doing that in their uniform?
Yeah, I was in the military for 10 years, and what we did when we went overseas into certain countries, like Kosovo, things like that, I was actually in Kosovo. We did a lot of work like that in the community, and was showing a presence in the community, and it actually brought peace within the community for the most part. So we do a lot of humanitarian work in the military. That's not necessarily picking up arms. It's actually sometimes just being in the community, being in the area, actually will create sort of goodwill all the way around.
So why did Donald? Why instead of? Are you aware that they actually had park services like already employed for the areas? Why is it that Donald Trump fired the park services that were actually responsible for picking up that, or could have been asked to pick them up after they got rid of all of the homeless population or the houseless population? And why are we having National Guard? Why did he fire them if that was the case?
There wouldn't be trash to pick up, but that's neither here or there. But
I like it. I find it interesting that any individual wants a police state in our country.
Yeah, so I think like civil liberties and things like that, like they have kind of imposed when you have troops on the ground, to kind of your civil rights or rights in general are kind of imposed, so to speak. And so when COVID came around, do you think they did that during COVID? Do you think our rights were kind of invaded a little bit, slightly, maybe just maybe a 1%, a little bit?
No.
They told us people were fired because they didn't get a vaccine. That normally vaccines take 20 years to make, and this vaccine was done in like a year. And if you didn't get the vaccine, you were fired. You lost your job.
I literally answered your question. No.
Okay. All right. So what was the death rate for?
Oh no, no. We're gonna stick on the National Guard. You don't get to determine where this is going. I had asked you a question that you failed to answer. Why are you okay with the policed militarized state?
Because it's working.
Because it's working.
It's working to keep crime down.
Okay, so you also believe Donald Trump when he said that there hasn't been a single murder since the National Guard has been in Washington, D.C., I assume?
No, I believe the liberal mayor of D.C. who said that carjackings are going down 80%.
Oh, okay. You also missed where she announced that there was actual a murder that occurred in D.C. since the National Guard has been there, because they're not everywhere in D.C. They're only where there are going to be national monuments, where the tourist individuals go to, and only in the upper white districts. They're not in Ward 8, the one that actually was facing the highest level of crime. And it's very interesting that anyone even says this, because even then the mayor of D.C. and Washington, D.C. themselves are actively suing the Trump administration over the deployment of the National Guard. So I'm asking you again, since you say that you're former military, why do you think, since you say you're former military, I don't need you to interrupt me. It's cool. Let me just get out the sentence.
Sure.
Cool.
But you make it as if I'm not military.
Can you stop?
That's kind of a shame. That's a shame.
Well, yeah, no, I'm not letting you distract me with that. Okay.
So you say you're a woman.
Okay. Dude, your impulse control? You're how old again? How old are you again?
47.
47.
To say that you say
your lack of impulse control,
that's very offensive.
Your lack of impulse control is laughable.
Control.
You have a lack of impulse control.
Who had a brown nose. You just said somebody who had a brown nose was brown-nosing Trump. That's kind of a racist statement. The man had a brown nose because his skin is brown, not because he's in Donald Trump's butt.
No, he had a brown nose because he was brown-nosing him.
No, he said he was a brown nose. He's a brown-skinned person. He said he's brown-nosed because of that.
Well, I don't know if you realize this, but I only gave him two. Okay, hang up then. I only gave him two options. I said, is your nose brown, as in mean like shit being on it, or is it orange, as in like Cheeto dust? Yeah, it's literally figurative. Oh, Zen, did I hurt your little fifis? Aw, so sorry, not sorry. Thanks for calling the stream. Are you there?
Yes. Can you hear me?
I can. How old are you?
I am 25.
Okay. Did you vote for Trump?
Actually, I did.
Do you still support him?
Do I still support his full candidacy? I'll be honest, there are a lot of things that I don't
It's not about his candidacy anymore. He was sworn into office.
Well, I support some of the things that he campaigned for, but there's a lot of things that I've seen in the media that I really just don't stand by, but I did vote for him.
I'm not asking you to talk about why you voted for him. Why do you still support him?
Well, I think what I support the most is a pro-American agenda. Would you like me to expand on that a little more?
Yeah, and be more specific.
Sure. So I don't know how privy you are to like venture capitalists in like the defense sector, like Anduril Industries, but I do appreciate that we are taking a step towards the industrialization of American defense, especially like in the AI sector, cybersecurity. I think we're really lacking in that regard. And sorry if there's a lot of background noise. I'm about to go on break. But I think that in the grand scheme of things, America as a nation, as a sovereign nation, is really falling behind in our defense sector. And you have other countries forming coalitions like BRICS. My main concern is China, who are forming these coalitions to posture against the United States.
Quick question.
Our sovereignty as yeah, sure.
Quick question. Is BRICS a defense agreement?
No, that's not what I'm implying. That's not what I'm implying.
Well, you were talking about military prowess, and then you brought up BRICS, and there's a common misunderstanding that BRICS is just an economic agreement, and it has nothing to do with defense. In fact, there's so many statements out there from Brazil where they clearly say, I'm not helping Russia in the shit that they're doing.
Yeah. Well, I guess what I mean, like, so, there's different types of approaches to warfare. For example, I mean, would you agree that China, for example, as a way to kind of give that statement credence, would you agree that China supplying the precursor compounds to cartels in Mexico is a form of warfare?
No.
Okay, so you don't agree with that premise.
Because if that's the case, you do realize that our own military armament has been used against us in multiple instances of war because we sold them to the wrong people, or we sold them to somebody that sold them to terrorist organizations. So if that's the case, I guess we're an enemy to ourselves and we attacked ourselves.
Honestly, I would, to some degree, have to agree with that. I do believe that there are rogue agents in the state.
It's not rogue agents. It's literally our government that is selling our military weapons to other countries and other bodies, other industries, that then either go to terrorist organizations or we accidentally gave it to people that then turn it around and attack ourselves. Like,
I would agree, and I
think
that's
by that same thing, this includes Donald Trump because he also sold military equipment to other countries in his first term. I guess Donald Trump is an enemy of the state for selling weapons that were used against us. Good to know.
I honestly, if that were true, then I would agree with that statement. I really. I'm not so staunch in my beliefs. I mean, there's no other way to put it, but I'm not going to dick ride him just because, I voted for him. There are policies and practices that he supports and backs that, I, as a working class young American, I have 3 children. I'm thankful to be in a position where I can provide for my kids. My girl and I have been together for almost 10 years. And I think the biggest thing that he campaigned on that I was really interested in, the no tax on tips, the no tax on overtime, which I think a lot of people thought was misleading because, I think a lot of people were under the impression that you get more money back on the end of the check, but it really comes in the form of like a tax break. But that's just one thing. I used to be a server when I was in high school. I worked 2 jobs, so I know how tough the service industry is. I would, I think that those are good net positives for the working class. But again, I just want to iterate. Yes, I did vote for him. That doesn't mean like I'm just going to idly stand by and support everything that he does. I think that's just mindless, and I'm just not doing my due diligence as an American citizen. And it's incumbent upon each and every one of us to hold our leaders accountable. And, I think where we are as a state these days, it's reflective of the lack of due diligence on the average American. We let things just kind of culminate, and then when it reaches a boiling point, that's when we kind of come together. But I'm just speaking kind of tangentially now. Do you have any questions for me? I don't want to monopolize the conversation by any means.
Yeah, so it's been projected for a long time that China was going to at least match up with our military prowess come 2028. That's always how it's been. And no other, like every other country acknowledges that we're still the military superpower of the world. Like every other country has acknowledged that.
For now.
Yeah, but to say that somehow we've like done away with this shit, like, or rolled back is incorrect. We had
I wouldn't say that entirely. I think that Donald Trump, compared to the other candidates, took a stronger posture in positioning against these countries, trying to supersede the United States, whether that's economically, industrially, or even
and yet he's over
militarily.
here trying to be friends with everybody that would be trying to supersede the United States, and they're literally now getting like meeting together in public, not even behind his back, just openly in public, to come up with their own arrangements because they're literally laughing at Donald Trump. He has shown no strength on the international stage.
And in some instances, I would agree, but I think diplomacy at the end of the day is better than dropping a bomb on somebody. You know, I think it's nice to try and.
Guys, you can't hear the caller because his volume is absolute trash. It's up. He's not down. It's up.
I can't say that confidently, but I mean, I think that China's Belt and Road Initiative. You know, they have no discretion when it comes to positioning themselves against the United States and acting out of self-interest. But it's my opinion. I grew up, like they in school taught about the perils and the hesitation towards capitalism and the push towards Marxism. We learned that in our AP history classes, and honestly, I didn't like that. But my point with that is that when America, it seems to me, it is my opinion, that when America acts out of self-interest, everyone that criticizes it. But it's okay for other countries to act on their own agenda and out of self-interest. But it is my position, and I strongly believe this, that if lights go out in America, lights will go out across the globe. And it's incumbent on us as a nation to remain number one superpower. And I think if Donald Trump at times didn't act like a fucking child, that he can show strength. He can show strength in adversity, and I do think that compared to his former candidates in the last presidential election, he puts America in a better position to posture ourselves against our adversaries.
No, because now our adversaries are gathering together even closer than they ever have in history, including the fact that even though it had been talked about for a decade, they never actually did anything about it, but now they actually are signing an actual trade agreement between Japan, South Korea, and China, which have been enemies for fucking ever. Japan just pulled out of their trade meeting with Donald Trump because he was lying about what the deal was, trying to say that any profits the United States keeps 90% and Japan only gets 10 for sales there. Like, no, he's made us he's made us the laughing stock of the world, right?
And
like,
honestly, I would agree.
Right, so you can't even say that you're supporting him because he puts on a strong front. That's an absolute lie. Like,
and and that's how I premised the conversation. Is I did vote for him, and there are things that he campaigned on that I did support, and there are things that he does do that I would like. You know what I mean? Like I'm not so staunch in my beliefs to just blindly adhere to everything he has to say and grovel at every word he says. But I just someone on the other side of the fence trying to give you some insight on why me as a young Hispanic American male voted for him.
Oh, thank you, Playtime with Pets, for becoming a paid subscriber on TikTok. Yeah, so you admit that he lied?
I do. I mean, I think it's fair to say that any politician lies to their voting base.
Yeah. which I don't think that's something that we should ever give politicians a pass for.
I agree. No, I agree. So I mean, this is, I don't want to get anybody flagged here, but when do we get to use the guns?
When do we get to use the guns?
Yeah, when do we get to use the guns? We tar and feathered politicians for less hundreds of years ago. I mean, how the mighty have fallen.
Yeah, that's, I don't condone political violence. Giddy up.
Take care.
You too. Let me be very clear, guys. We don't do political violence. Political violence is not okay. We don't threaten any sitting politician at any level of government. Yes, let me get to your comment real quick. 2006 to 2011, ATF sold guns to Mexican cartels to try and track and arrest them. What really happened was the Mexican drug cartels got armed by the ATF, and I'm assuming at that point, Bishop, we weren't able to track them. So the project itself was done away with by the Biden administration. Okay. Well, it looks like I definitely need to post a video tomorrow. YouTube just ain't doing it today. Thank you guys over on Twitch. You guys are doing awesome on Twitch. Sorry, I should have already muted TikTok. 1 second, Tiki-Talkie. Get up to 225,000 likes real quick, TikTok. I appreciate you. Y'all are doing awesome on Twitch. I'm already at 141 followers. I know that's not a lot, but for Twitch, just getting started, and Twitch is very slow going when you're not a gamer. I sincerely appreciate that. You guys have been awesome for the fact that we have had a low viewership today over on YouTube, and I super duper entirely appreciate you guys for being here on both streams. We're on 2 separate streams today. And by the way, guys, if you are on the side where you mostly agree with things that I'm saying and you are watching on YouTube, I would suggest that you watch on the horizontal stream, because the chat is usually nicer there, and there are no typical comments of straight up sexism from individuals. You guys are so interesting in the chat, that's for sure. Okay. All right, we're back and alive. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Thank you for everyone that's a returning viewer over on... Is that the case, Grim? Hey, Grim. You can say this, Grim, and yet... I'm still... Like, let me see. Where am I at right now? Because I've been told this since I got started. And yet, I'm still at almost 28,000. Isn't that interesting how that works? Very interesting how that works. But I'm not losing my subscribers. That's cool. I don't know for sure if I'll be on tomorrow, guys. So if you want to know for sure, make sure that you have the alerts on all of the places. Join the Discord. Okay. You need to tell them what team jersey that was so they can hate me more. Hi, guys. I am about to put this on for the Chargers. Is that what you want to know? This is for the Chargers. Yeah, you see the bolts? Thank you, Kristen, for becoming a member over on the Tubi. But yeah, like Grim, I've been told that I'm gonna lose all my followers since I got started 3 months ago, and I haven't. So have fun. You can keep saying that. You can be the first one. It's cool. We're shutting down over on Tubi. Thank you guys so much. And no problem, Kristen. Yeah, it's the LA Chargers. Okay. Bye, guys, over there. Bye, Twitchy, too.